this might seem elementary, it might not seem that important, and it might seem obvious, but if you do not have clarity, you do not have anything.
How much clarity do you have on the future that you want to build towards?
Next Level Nation, today, for episode number 2155, everything starts with clarity. I just want to make sure I'm recording everywhere here really quickly. All right, cool. So Alan and I were talking, I think we said this live publicly. We got to the end of an episode and you said, hey, we never talk about clarity anymore. And I think that would be an important thing to talk about. And I'll never forget, we went to a Brendan Burchard event, and at this point in my life, I was relatively new. I was very new to personal development, all things considered. And I remember thinking that
what do you mean? You had been doing it for at least 3 weeks?
3 weeks, yeah, 3 weeks. At that point, I was doing it 2 years.
More. Yeah, I
2
know,
years. But still, in the grand scheme of things, though, it's not that much time.
Levels.
I didn't even know who Brendan Burchard was before you told me who he was. So it's like, I can't claim. But I remember going there, and one of my biggest insecurities was people are going to be so far ahead of me. Everybody here is going to be so far ahead of me. And I'll never forget, we were in a group, and everybody had to go through and rate themselves on how much clarity they had. And I remember...
Was it on a 4-point scale for some reason?
It was on a weird scale.
Yeah, not a fan.
It was on a weird scale. And I was
like 0 to 4 or something.
I was 4 out of 4. Like, I know exactly what I want. I don't know exactly how I'm going to get there, for sure. That's Jeff's job. But I know exactly what I want.
You keep calling me Jeff. No one knows.
Alan, I used to go to the studio that it was at Alan's mother's house. This was in like 2018, 2019. He was always late, and he'd be like in his room or he'd be in the shower or whatever. So I would text him when I got there. He would come out and get me. I tried to message, I am here. It said, I am Jeff. He said, I am also Jeff. Now we're Jeff. We're both Jeff. That's the story.
The dumbest story I've ever heard.
It's the best story. It's the best story.
Nice.
So I expected to have the least clarity out of anybody in my group. I had probably the most clarity out of anybody in my group. And that is one of the reasons that we are here today. And again, Alan has had clarity for a lot longer than I, but it's not sexy and it's not, I don't know, it doesn't make for the most exciting thing to think about, but how clear are you on what you want? Because the clearer you are on what you want, the better likelihood you can actually chase that thing. I'm not saying you'll get it, but you can chase it.
Quick challenge.
Please.
All right. Kevin and I, we didn't plan on this. I didn't tell him ahead of time we were going to do this.
Uh-oh.
Right? One sentence encapsulate your entire life in one sentence. I'm going to go first, and then we're going to see how you do.
Okay.
All right. Give me a second.
Uh-huh.
All right. I, Alan Lazaros, help people reach their full potential in fitness, personal development, and business through the vehicles of coaching, training, and podcasting.
Okay. See, this one's hard for me because I have a couple things that, okay. I help podcasters grow, scale, and monetize their podcast through podcasting, speaking, and coaching.
Nice.
Now, one would be like, it's hard because I also, when we talk about this, I help people raise their awareness through podcasting, speaking, and coaching also, but what are you going to do?
Right. The point that I was making with that wasn't just you and I to flex and compete on air. I have this thing called, so picture, God damn it, how am I going to do this? A triangle.
Nice.
With a word in the center. For me, it's potential. I'm going to use me as an example, but I want you thinking of you. Okay. Triangle, word in the center. Mine is potential. The first triangle is your 3 passions. For me, it's fitness, personal development, and business. Boom. So potential in the center, fitness, personal development, business. With me?
I'm with you.
Now, there's an upside down triangle within that. These are the 3 vehicles. Coaching, training, podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One is one to scale. That's podcasting. One to many. One to scale. Then there's one to several, which is training. What I did on the meetup. Thank you, anyone who came. I think 22 people registered, 15 people came. No, 24 people registered, 15 people came. Thank you for coming. It was awesome. Coaching, training, podcasting. So podcasting is one to scale, training is one to several, coaching is one to one. I like one to one best. Kevin likes one to scale best. We both do both. It's a whole fucking thing. All right. So I, Alan Lazarus, I kind of cheated. I set you up for failure because I do this for a living and I help people get clarity. And then now put a giant circle around both those triangles and the one word. That encapsulates everything you say yes to. If you want to win in business. If you don't want to win in business, you don't have to do this. If you want to win in business, everything, I tell my clients, everything in that, you say yes to. I got asked earlier to be on another podcast. He wants to have Emilia and I. It went awesome, by the way. The person you were telling me about.
Nice.
It went great. Yeah.
Good.
Kev said, you're either going to hate each other or absolutely love each other. I think it's the second one. Definitely the second one. It was great. It's an automatic yes. He's aligned, and it's a podcast, and it's Emilia and I talking about conscious couples, helping people in personal development. Awesome. Done. So when I said I, Alan Lazarus, help people reach their full potential, potential is the one word, in fitness, personal development, and business, that's the first triangle, through the vehicles of coaching, training, podcasting, I already had done that. I know exactly what to say absolutely yes to and absolutely not to. And everything outside of that, I say no to.
Well, I think when we think of clarity, it's just like knowing what to do. But there's levels of knowing what to do. And what to do when. And
knowing what not to do.
I think a lot of people think clarity is knowing what to do.
I know.
That's my argument, at least. Right? I think that's probably, if you were on stage in front of 100 people and you said, what does clarity mean to you? I feel like most people probably say that, right?
Yeah. Everything's paradoxical. I think it starts with what you know you shouldn't be doing. That's where I had to start. 10 years ago, I was everybody's best friend.
I don't think it starts there. No, I think for most people, it's what you should do. Yeah. I think so.
I think it's more intelligent to start with what you shouldn't be doing. I mean, everyone can think right now of habits you shouldn't be doing.
But you can also think of what you should be doing.
Not necessarily.
You don't think?
No, I've found people don't know what to do.
Well,
they definitely know what not to do.
I would trust you on that because you definitely work with more people one-on-one than I do.
Well, we talked about this not long ago. If only 3% of people have goals, then how could you know what strategy to use? Strategy is predicated on a goal.
That's fair.
And so I think we're all, and I use this metaphor, I heard it in a speech once, and I create my own flavor of it, obviously. We are born naked, scared, and ignorant, and we don't know who the fuck we are. And then we go out into the world, and we don't start out as little babies going, I know who I am.
Mm-mm.
No, we go and we make tons of mistakes, and we go, oh, I know who I am not. And then you hone, and when you're 36...
I disagree.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I was on a podcast. I
actually do love when you disagree, by the way.
I appreciate it. Well, I think it makes for good content. And when I say this, it's going to seem like I'm reaffirming what you're saying, but I was talking about how we're so very focused on character. I just want to be a good man. Ellen wants to be a good man. That's it at the end of the day. Like, we want to be really good men. That's important to us. No, I don't mean that's it as in that's it. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's not it. It's definitely, that's number one.
Yes,
integrity.
it's important.
Very important. Yeah.
It's not it, but that's important to us.
Yeah. I wish if it was it, hey, we've done well.
I know, we've done just fine.
Being a good man, I think, is very difficult when you have massive goals.
I said that to Taryn today on the we have an opportunity to work with a new client. This client, I believe, is being taken advantage of by their current team.
Yeah.
And I said to Taryn, I almost wish, and then I stopped myself. I said, that's not true. I said, how much easier would it be if I was just like the person that they're working with, and I was just ripping people off?
The worst.
It would be so much easier. This whole thing would be so much easier, and I'd feel terrible about myself.
Yeah.
I was on a podcast, and we were talking about character. And I said, I guarantee if Alan was here and you asked him, hey, what's the one time Kevin has the deepest shame around or regrets the most when he did something that was outside of his character? I said, I guarantee Alan would have the answer. Guaranteed.
Yeah. Wine drunk,
not being nice to our driver.
Yep, 100%.
It's not because I don't know who I am. It's because I know exactly who I am, and I don't do that type of shit.
100%.
So for me, I think the other way, Maybe.
Next Level Nation, what is happening? If you've thought to yourself, I want to try coaching, but you don't really know where to start, group coaching would be a wonderful place for you. That's really why we created it in the first place. We start a new round every 90 days. So if you're hearing this, go to the website, nextleveluniverse.com, and we have the landing page where you can actually hold your spot right now. Even if there's a group going on right now, you can still lock your spot for the next one. The biggest thing that we've seen is as we get closer and closer to the date, unfortunately, some people end up missing. The group fills up and they can't do it, and then they end up regretting that. So please head over to the website. The link will be in the show notes, and we would love to see you there.
Can you hear my dog?
Definitely.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. No worries.
Okay, we're gonna roll right through
Yeah, it's all good. No
That's
worries.
Tucker. I just want to make sure he's okay, so I need to listen.
If you want to go check, you can. I can hold space.
No, it's all good. I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. Okay. I have no idea what we're talking about.
I was going to say, I can assume nothing I said landed at all.
I remember the wine drunk.
I think the opposite. The reason that stands out to me so much is not because that told me who I was not. That's why it fucking pisses me off so much. I know I'm so much better than that.
That's my point. You know you're not like that.
No, I know I am a different way.
It's the same. It's duality.
It's not the same. It's different.
It's the same. No. Hold on. It's the same simultaneously. You know who you are, therefore you know who you are not. And you know you were being outside of alignment with who you really are.
But can it really work that way from a place of starting?
It's both simultaneously.
Going back to yesterday's episode.
Yesterday's episode was on duality. If you haven't listened, please go back and listen. It is an important concept that I do think we articulated it pretty well, all things considered. It's not an easy concept to break down. But you go out in the world and you figure out who you are and who you're not.
What percentage is it, you think?
Oh, man.
60-40, at least, who you are, right?
I think it probably starts out, you don't know who you are at all. You 0% know who you are as a kid. And then you go out into the world and you figure out who you are by doing things that are not aligned and then reflecting on it. But then there's the whole turning point. And again, I won't go down the rabbit hole with this because I know we don't have time, but there's this metaphor that I really like. Imagine you draw a dot on the center of a piece of paper and then you draw a spiral outward.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, and for you it was suicidal ideation on the side of a bed in New Jersey. For me it was my car accident. All of a sudden you stop. And you go, wait a minute, I've gotten too far from my true self.
Mm-mm.
I don't like my job. I don't like my girlfriend or boyfriend. I've gotten too far. So, I don't like my life. I don't like myself. What the hell's going on? And then you start drawing back and you get back to your essence. And your essence, I always hold up this rock if you're on YouTube. It's Dragonite. And I always hold it up because it's like, I am a fucking engineer through and through. Everything is by design. And I got away from that for a time. And I wasn't fulfilled. I don't think you can be fulfilled without being who you are. But again, to the point of this clarity, do you know who you are? Well, I do think this is a principle. Think of the time when you were the most unfulfilled. You were probably the farthest from who you really are, your essence. And I think little kids know their essence, and then they lose themselves in ego and status and bullshit and horseshit. And then all of a sudden something happens, you face mortality, and then you go, oh, I'm done with that game. I'm going to go back to my essence. But now you're a grown-ass man or woman. And I feel very in my essence now. I don't feel like I think it's hard to own. We talked about belonging and all that. But on the last episode of Duality, dude, I sounded like
a dingo?
Unique human being.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah. And that's who I really am. It's all in my brains. All the time. 24/7, 365. That's how I think. But no one knows that. Why? Because no one cares. So I don't get to be fully you.
I don't think it's just that. I think it's you haven't shared it because sharing it equals pain at times, right? So it's like, is it worth sharing all the way?
For sure.
That was an interesting episode for me because it's like, I don't know that much about, I understand the concept and I think it's something I practice, but if somebody said, explain it to me, I'm not there yet.
Well, Kev, 8 years ago when we first started would have been too insecure to hang in that conversation. And you probably would have made a joke or whatever. And then I would have also felt your insecurity and I wouldn't have wanted to make you feel bad. So I would have dialed back down and made some jokes. And I think, and I like jokes, so let's not make that wrong, right?
Yeah.
That we have a lot of fun.
Well, jokes, it serves a purpose. If it's a joke to be funny, that's one thing. If it's a joke because you're insecure and you need to deflect, that's a different thing, right?
Exactly. And sometimes we have to do that. And it was interesting. You were always insecure about not being smart enough. And I was always insecure about being too smart.
Yeah.
And so we've very much grown into who we're meant to be by you've gotten much smarter and I've learned how to own who I am more.
And I feel good about owning when I don't know.
Yeah, which is awesome. It's really nice.
I feel good about... I did a podcast pre-call today, and he's like, let me look through my notes to see what I wanted to talk to you about for the episode. And I was like, yeah, your guess is as good as mine. I don't even know why I'm here. I have no idea why I'm here. Not a clue. No idea why I'm here. And this is a person that's a potential client now. They're like, oh, we'd love to work with you. It's like, oh, okay. Cool. That's cool. But
nice.
I think that okay, real quick, let's wrap it in a bow. What are the 3 things you need to be clear on? What are the 3 most important things to be clear on?
Yourself, others, and the world.
Okay, that was easier than I thought. I was hoping for like a fucking framework, like character, competence, and fucking impact or something, you know?
No, you gotta have self-awareness. You gotta be clear on who you really are, not who you think you are or who you wish you were. And then you gotta have clarity on people. Physiology, neuroscience, psychology, how it works, how people work, different types.
How do you get it? How do you get clarity?
Just constant learning, just bludgeoning with... Anyone with kids in the room, put on headphones, turn this off.
Also, start wearing headphones all the time if you're doing it. Because we are going to swear, because I think we're... Again, this part is...
This is more than that, though. I'm going to say the thing...
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yes, so I'm going to give you a minute to turn this off, make sure your kids are not going to hear what I'm about to say, okay? All right. I do believe personal development is Santa Claus isn't real on repeat.
Yeah.
And neither is the Easter Bunny, and neither is the Tooth Fairy, and that's how you learn what's real. There's how people want you to believe it works. Like let's talk about that client who's getting taken advantage of. The person wants that person to believe. So it's what they want the person to believe it works, how it works, and then it's how they think it works, and then it's how it really works. Everything is that. Everything is how I want you to think it works, how I want it to work, how I wish it worked, and then how it really works. How it really works is where all the gold is. And no one is, I don't want to say no one, very few people are able to get to that core clarity.
Well, it's because there's so much bullshit out there.
So much. Yeah.
I said to somebody today, and then we'll get out of here, I said, if you use it for marketing, it most likely isn't true. If you can say like, this makes for really good marketing, like people they'll be vibing with this will be it. It most likely isn't true. It's just the highlights, most likely.
It's not the whole story. I would say it's definitely
I would say
it's the tip of the iceberg. It's not the whole story.
And it's the positive tip of the iceberg.
What about you, clarity? Wrap it up.
Oh my goodness. Awareness is everything. You know, all awareness is clarity about who you are, about what you want to do, about what you're good at, about what you're not, I would connect it to self-awareness. I would say the more clear you are on who you are and why you feel you are the way you are and all of that stuff. What do you run towards? What do you run from? What are you excited about? What do you regret? What do you look for? All of that shit.
Nice.
Those questions are invaluable if you can answer those questions. Mm-hmm. All right. Cool. All right. Next Level Nation private Facebook group. There's a meetup coming up. We have the Dreamliner. Alan has coaching. If you're a podcaster, I know there's a small segment of you. Reach out. I'm happy to answer any questions you got. Okay, cool. As always, we love you, appreciate you, grateful for each and every one of you. And if you want to get to the next level, as much as you say, if you are as committed as you say, make sure you tune in tomorrow because we will be here every single day to help you get there.
Keep reaching for your full potential. Next Level Nation.